what happens when you have a role in society that nobody respects, and a woman gets between you and your partner? Let's find out with Farewell, My Concubine.
Is child abuse good as long as it produces good art? That too. That's the my intro for this.
The results might shock you.
Yeah. So welcome back to
How?
another episode of Around the Weird, a booktube channel where I talk about unusual and out of the ordinary literature. But today, as per usual, Lucas and I, Lucas from Strike the Sun MD or Lucas MF, we're talking about Farewell, My Concubine, a movie that was made in 1993, directed by Chen Kaige, written by Liu Wei and Lillian Lee, and starring Leslie Chang, Yin Zi, and others as well.
Gong Li. The woman is Gong Li.
Yeah. A lot of people here. Very, very interesting, complicated movie that many times actively challenges Chinese Chinese history, and does not reflect well on China as a whole, which surprised me because I always think of like Chinese movies as being tightly controlled, because the Chinese government wants to like validate their existence, and allowing people to say that the Cultural Revolution was flawed, that has underlying, that challenges it, that puts a damper on like Chinese history. At least that's my perspective, and that's what happens in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. To be fair, actually, in China, it is fairly common for lots of people these days to be critical of the Cultural Revolution, and for that to be okay. I don't know if there's like a limit, but it is kind of like that was in the past, mistakes were made, now we're building a better future. I think that's kind of the like mentality for we're gonna allow that kind of thing. Another thing I've heard about like Chinese censorship, I don't really, or just censorship in general, I don't know if it's true for China, but it would kind of make sense. Like, for example, when I went to the film festival earlier this year in Shanghai, I saw David Lynch's Inland Empire in the cinema, and I gotta say, I have seen movies, like Western films, that had nudity in them, and I did not find out until years later, because I rewatched the movie and suddenly saw some boobs and was like, "What?" I didn't see that when I saw it in the theater, but for the film festival, I don't know if you've seen Inland Empire, but there is a moment where there are these prostitutes, and one of them takes her boobs out, and she's showing off, and the other girl's like, "Wow, you got nice boobs," blah blah blah. And I was shocked to see that. But talking about that to some other people, they were telling me, for something that's like really high art that the common masses are not going to go to or appreciate or have the space for, even though it did have Chinese subtitles, those kinds of things allow a little more leeway for like the middle class and upper class to feel like we're saying something here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Kind of like, a lot of art in museums will show nudity, for example, and nobody freaks out about it. I guess because only a select few of people are going to actually like enjoy that without it being like a ooh, but amazing. I don't know exactly, but that's something that I've heard. But I think it was probably banned right away, but allowed back in, and is a huge cultural point for Chinese film. I don't know for sure if it was, but I know plenty of other movies that were critical have been banned and then shortly later are like unbanned when it's okay. Incredible film. One of my favorites. Certainly one of my favorite Chinese films I've ever seen. You had high praises for it as well on
Yeah,
Letterboxd.
it was pretty stellar. Made me very uncomfortable at many points.
Mm,
And just really sad, but really well made, like really good. Like I think about it a lot. I've been thinking about it, like after watching it, and just like especially the high pitched voices of the boy pretending to be a nun, a concubine.
yeah.
Like that kind of stands out to me.
It's a boy. I'm in essence a girl. Something like that. I forget the exact phrase. Yeah, that's a big part of Peking or Beijing opera, is having that kind of screeching, and maybe screeching is not the right word, that kind of voice in particular for the female characters. Pretty impressive. The men are able to. I guess they're using their falsetto voice, but still pretty impressive. Every aspect of the movie is impressive, like cinematography, the shot selection, the lighting, the costumes, the story, the characters, the writing, the acting is amazing. And what's even more incredible is the first third of the movie has child actors and some like elderly, abusive old men.
Yeah.
And the child actors are pretty good too. They hold up just as strong as the adult actors. Leslie Cheung being the standout in my opinion, and Gong Li as well, the woman.
The movie starts with these people talking in a gymnasium. Like you see the people in costume, like a masked king and the concubine character talking to someone off screen in a gymnasium about the blame or something like that. I don't remember that exact conversation, but like it sort of starts there, and then it goes back in time to Peking in 1924, where things aren't really all that great.
Yeah, it's the warlord era. The Qing dynasty has fallen,
Yeah,
and China's kind of factionalized by warlords or whatever. Or maybe not warlords, I forget what it's called, but it was factionalized, and things were not looking good for the common man or woman, as we see.
yeah. Like a woman takes her child to an opera orphanage, which is apparently a thing that existed back then. Basically, like young boys are raised to perform various operas,
Yep.
and
And this woman was a prostitute,
yeah,
and these two types of people are considered the lowest of society, despite the fact that lots of people go to see them. So we see some element of that, and I think this is kind of like a major thing. Not only are there people playing roles, but the role you have in society, in a sense, no matter how high up you go, we'll see, things just don't get better.
yeah.
But this woman is the mother of our main character,
Douzi, is it?
Douzi. I know
Douzi.
it's Douzi, but I think it would be in Mandarin. It would be Douzi.
Douzi. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Douzi. I didn't see the character, but maybe it means like bean or something. Probably not, but she's trying to give her son the best chance possible for his life because he's getting a little too old to stay at the brothel and too big, and she still needs to work, take care of herself. She wants to take care of her child, but she can't. I mean, she doesn't really say that, but I'm sure she wanted to. I took that as something she wanted, just because she like at first the guy is kind of passing him off, right? Because he's got 6 fingers. He doesn't need more children. The guy doesn't need more children in the orphanage. Douzi has 6 fingers. I forget which hand it is. But she does make the point at that time, like, don't look down on me. We're both basically part of the lower caste of society. You are actors. I'm a prostitute. She doesn't say we're in this together, but I got that feeling as well.
Yeah.
That like they're both really looked down upon, which is something that people say a lot in the movie about actors being looked down upon, which is strange to me. Certainly not the case these days, and in America or in China. So I don't really understand why, especially if people enjoyed Beijing opera. That was something I was always wondering.
Actors used to be clowns, I guess. Like, cross culturally, like it wasn't until maybe the 30s, 1930s, 1940s, at least in America, and overseas, where actors became celebrities and big names. So, with the advent of like film and television, like that became a bigger thing. But like when they were just like in like vaudeville like stages or like
Fair
performing,
enough.
like traveling performers like they were just like, oh, these are clown people. They entertain us, but they're not big names. They're not people we
Sure,
respect.
sure, makes sense. Eventually, the old man does take in Douzi and cuts off that finger. He gets ridiculed by everybody because he's the son of a whore. But there's a boy whose name I'm forgetting right now.
Two.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, like he's very nice. He kind of protects Dutza.
He's pretty protective of Douzi throughout their training, which is horrendous. Not only from the physical abuse from the old man and the emotional abuse from the old man and the psychological abuse. It's an abusive, terrible situation, but it is his only hope to live a decent life. To have any opportunities outside of, I guess, just like doing manual physical labor and being treated like a dog elsewhere. He gets to be beat up and abused and psychologically scarred. By the way, being abandoned by his mother does terrible things to his inner psychology, and also
Yeah.
being the son of a whore and being ridiculed for that, his whole childhood. Doesn't do good things for that. We will see that come into play later.
Yeah. I think Shitou is very protective of Douzi, but Douzi's having Dutza is having a problem with like committing to his role as the concubine. I forget how it is, but like he keeps having a problem saying that he's a man pretending to be a woman, or it's the reverse.
Yeah, he's the concubine, right? So he's supposed to be a woman, but he keeps saying like, I forget the exact words, but it's like my inner spirit is a boy or something like that. But he should be saying in my nature I'm a girl. Something. And there is this really good opportunity of a opera theater. I don't know what to call it. Patron. Yeah, it's a patron, right?
Yeah.
Who's willing to fund them and start an opera troupe if he sees the right performance. This is a big thing coming up, and he keeps making mistakes. They also want to run away because they hate it. This is a couple years later, when they're teenagers or preteens at this point.
Yeah.
And they do try to run away, but Douzi sees the sort of he sees a really great performance, or at least one that moves him and motivates him and really makes him want to do his best,
Yeah.
right? And he has decided, this is what I want. I want that role. I want to be this guy or that woman, right? This leads to a just painful, not only to probably experience, but painful to watch beating and hanging of his best friend, who hangs himself.
Yeah.
But then he's training hard, but he keeps making mistakes about this line when the patron comes. But his other friend, who becomes his eventual scene partner or opera troupe partner, motivates him. Come on, you can do this. Let's go. To get it right, don't mess around. Be serious. And the opera troupe patron guy sees this real performance, this real effort, and takes them both in to train them more to be the king and the concubine in Farewell, My Concubine. And I think that's the only opera they ever perform, really, it seems like.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that for 50 years or so, or 60, however long it is in the movie, doing the same role. But you know what? They must be masters at that. But we're kind of zooming through the first hour, but not a lot happens besides abuse and torment.
Douzi gets sexually assaulted by one of the patrons.
Oh yeah, that's right. A guy tries to molest him after a
Tries and
performance.
succeeds.
Yeah, that's right. And that also psychologically scarred. Like, this poor boy did not have a chance in life ever to have a normal
No, he did not. It's
life.
really sad. I think all of this could have been mitigated if they just put on like Hamlet or a comedy of errors.
Yeah, come on, guys. Anyway, I don't know if you felt this way. This is a bit of an aside, but watching this made me want to see Beijing opera, to see what it's like. I saw it once years ago from someone who was still training, but I didn't see like fully trained professionals do it. So I was curious, what could it be like? I don't know
You're
if you felt that
there,
way.
so you could definitely.
Yeah, I have a much better opportunity than you do.
Yeah,
But
sure.
I did feel that when I was watching it, like, wow, I would actually like to see what does a full opera look like. After he gets molested, I think then we start to see them a little bit older, right? Time starts to pass.
1937.
Not a good
They're-
time in
They're
Chinese history.
yeah. Like the Japanese are starting to invade. They're kind of they're successful actors putting on their show. But Shitou is he begins taunting this prostitute, hanging out with like his friends, but he's also clearly interested in that woman, which puts a wrench in things because Douzi
Yeah.
is interested in Shitou. Like I think like because Shitou was a friend and a pal at one point. Like Douzi is he has a romantic attraction. I think it's a bit of the play kind of coming to life there.
Yeah, absolutely. This Dotze absolutely has no work-life balance in his mind. In like not work-life balance, but he cannot separate reality from work. Shitou absolutely can. Like, he recognizes, okay, I'm at work now. I will perform my role. I'm off duty, right? I'm not working. I'm gonna have some fun. And Dotze is still his friend, but it's strictly professional for him. But because Shitou and him have been together for so long, especially after the other boy killed himself, this is like the only other person who has ever shown him affection in his life. And they play a role where he's the concubine of Shitou's character, the king, right? So there's that romantic element in their professional life, but he's not able to separate that from his personal life. He's got strong feelings, but let's be fair. Shitou has strong. Doesn't seem to actually like, have a respectful liking for forget her name, the girl who works at the House of Flowers, the woman at the brothel that he is teasing a little bit, who's played by Gong Li.
I
How
didn't
could
write
you
it
not?
down. I'm
Shame on you. You always write this down. I'm supposed to be the one who can't remember the names of characters.
Juxian? Zuzian?
You're saying it wrong, but yes.
It's
I don't.
Juxian, at least in the pending.
Juxian, Jushan, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Jushan. Yeah, I mean, Gong Li is like one of the most beautiful women ever, so kind of hard not to feel attraction to her. But this is very interesting to me because that scene in the House of Flowers, he's teasing her, he's interested in her, right? Or he's trying to get in bed with her, but she's off limits because she's with another client or something. And then another prostitute tries to play with him or something, but he's only interested in Jushan. And then she runs out of the room because they're harassing her and not respecting her. She jumps off of not the balcony, jumps down to Shitou, who catches her. Those guys are about to get aggressive and beat him down. And then he says, "We're going to get married." Which
Marrying
sort
your
of
favorite prostitute, yeah.
yeah, that can only end well. Give me 1 second. But it's interesting because he's using her for sexual purposes and because she's a hottie. But she's using him to get out of this situation and also get out of the situation of out of being a prostitute, right? He's a successful actor, still on the lower threshold of society, but probably higher than prostitutes, right?
Yeah.
So
Barely, I think.
barely, yeah. They're using each other. When this relationship begins, it automatically goes to marriage. Diei is his name now. Douzi, Diei, is extremely jealous for personal and professional reasons. And Gong Li's character, Jushan, is also jealous of gosh, I just said his name, Diei,
Yeah.
because she wants out of her position in life into a better life. Not necessarily a glamorous life, just better than what she's been doing, was what I
Yeah.
got. So she's using Shitou, and she wants him to quit acting because she sees Diei as a threat. Diei sees her as basically like a double threat, and they just fucking hate each other the whole movie.
Yeah, yeah. They both can't have Shitou. So they ultimately have to they both can't have Shitou, so they need they're competing with one another. It's very unfortunate.
The country's going to hell because the Japanese are attacking. Oh boy. They have, I forget what city this is in. Are they in Beijing?
Yes, or somewhere near there, I think. I didn't write that
Yeah,
down.
I forgot.
Peking, yeah, Peking is Beijing.
Yeah. Anyway, Shitou is acting a fool during a performance, which leads to his arrest and leads to serious problems. And now his woman and his concubine, Diei, have to work together to get him out of this problem. But they are just like, to be honest, Juxian is not nearly as catty and possessive of Shitou as Dia is, in my opinion. I don't know if you felt the same way.
Yeah. Well, she still wants to be with him, and I think there
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
territorial kind of thing. But
Mm.
there's a lot wrong with Dei, and Jushin is not nearly that dysfunctional.
Yeah, she seems to be willing to play nice. Like she wants Shitou to quit, but I don't know. It's like, okay, I get it. That's your best friend. I'll play ball. And she's like not ever willing to make peace, but she's always willing to go to him for help or going willing to help him. DAE, on the other hand, is just like, fuck you, bitch, I hope you die. Constantly. Without saying that, it's in his behavior.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really want to help Shitou right away, as I recall. But he does end up doing that. And along the way, maybe not in that scene, but he also makes a friend. Would you like to introduce this other patron of the arts?
He's he's like a mentor, and he's
Yeah, he's a
also
huge opera nerd.
yeah he's kind of a manipulative jerk. I forget what his name is, but I do know that he's not a communist. He might be part of the Chen Kaige crowd.
Yeah, I think he was a nationalist.
Yeah, so that'll come into play much later.
Yeah, he was a very wealthy man who was a patron of the arts, particularly opera. Whenever he meets DAE, he's always asking, like, everything he, like, DAE is clearly in love with Shitou. Shitou does not reciprocate the feeling. This much is obvious. It is a gay, tragic love story, very one-sided. A tragic gay love story. And then when he meets this guy, this guy is so openly homosexual. That is another kind of shock. That one is more shocking to me in the movie. Like this explicitly. I mean, he never says like, "Oh, I want to go to bed with you, DAE," but his behavior is very like. There's a time when he wants DAE to do some performance, right? Do a little performance for him. And he asks him questions about like how many steps does the king take, and yeah, he's explaining it's 7, but there's a way to do it with 5 steps or something like that. I'm forgetting exactly how it goes. And there's like this tremendous sexual tension from the guy to DAE, who is a little caught off guard on his back foot from my point of view of seeing that, but a bit receptive because there is drama with Shitou, and we will see that how that reception plays out later as well. He's giving him gifts, a grandiose, beautiful sword that is like a special occasion kind of gift. I forget what he says, when and where and how and why people give swords. And also there's a time where Diei is doing something, like part of his performance, and the dude just like grabs him and he's like, oh, this is like right after he's holding the sword, I think. And then he's like, let's not talk of something dirty like money, while he's like basically groping him.
Yeah.
That was pretty shocking to me to see such an openly, explicitly gay character in a movie that would have been like a huge deal.
Yeah. I felt the same way about that. Like there's a lot here that what I imagine flies in the face of Chinese values, especially in '93. It's fascinating in that way. Yeah.
Well, moving on, they do a performance for the Japanese, which causes them trouble later. Eventually, the Japanese. Is there another scene with the Japanese? I
Yeah.
don't
Well,
think
the
so.
Japanese are actually really respectful.
Yeah, they're really. That is another. That is a huge thing that I think probably got them. If it was banned, that's probably the biggest reason. Because the Japanese in this movie are not really shown to be all that bad. They're curious about Beijing opera. They like it. They're respectful. The real life counterparts, not so much. But in this movie, they're pretty. I mean, they arrest Shitou, but Shitou was like fucking around, and he found out. Um, like he did something wrong. It makes sense he was arrested. They acted pretty civil in this movie. Then we get to the nationalists after the Japanese have left.
Jushin is pregnant too at this point.
Oh, Jushin is pregnant, and they're doing a performance, but Diei is not performing, having a hissy fit over something, upset with Jushin probably, and Shitou. Is it at this point that he becomes addicted to opium, or is it right after?
No, I think that's later.
That's later.
But they do sort of adopt Jiaoxi. Souzi is
Oh yeah. There was
who becomes a bit of a shit stain later, but much in the same way that Duza, or Dahi, there's a bunch of different names, but much in the same way that he was just dropped off at the orphanage, so was Zhao Si. And so there's a parallel to Duza's story.
Yeah, he gets the same kind.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, he gets the same kind of opera training because he was an abandoned baby. They picked him up when he was really young, and they find him a little bit older after the opera trainer has finally died. Who they take a beating from when they're adults.
Yeah, he spanks them.
He spanks them, and he's like, just yelling at them. They're just taking it. They do end up adopting him and training him because he says, no matter what, I will be an opera performer or whatever. They play for the nationalists who get angry, start throwing stuff. Shitou comes out and says, we will do the performance. Please behave. Even the Japanese didn't do this.
So one, like, that was like, what? What did you just say? But like one, like that, obviously saying that and knowing the Chinese sentiment about Japanese after the fact is pretty extreme. But saying that in the moment of like the Japanese were better than you, that is an awful thing to say to the people who sort of like are trying to reconquer their land.
Yeah, absolutely. People who fought against the Japanese. Wow. That definitely, everyone was standing at attention at that point. A rumble tumble begins. Not really a fight, but there's definitely some pushing and shoving and like, what did you say? How could you say that? You should be under arrest. This kind of thing, and everyone's getting involved. Gong Li's character Jushin tries to put a stop to it. She loses the baby. I think she's the most tragic character in this whole movie.
Yeah.
And it's not even close.
Well, very tragic. She's competing with Duza, who is their entire life is shit, not good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But losing the baby is pretty hard, pretty sad.
Losing the baby and so much more later on. I mean, she was a prostitute earlier, something she probably certainly did not want to do. So on and so forth. Anyway, let's continue. I'm forgetting what happens next, but eventually the national. Oh,
I think Duza is put on trial.
He's put on trial. I think before he's put on trial, he does become addicted to opium.
No, that's
Or it's after.
afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, okay, after.
Yeah.
He's put on trial for this. The extremely gay patron of the arts is asked to help. I was on the edge of my seat, knowing exactly what DAE was going to do, and just like, please explain.
No, actually, remind me, because I know that the trial is pretty controversial, but he manages to get freed from it.
Yeah, so what the deal is that everybody comes in. The original guy who hired Douzi, DAE and Shitou, he comes in as a witness. Shitou comes in as a witness, and the gay guy comes in as a witness to testify that, in fact, basically, DAE is innocent. He didn't really do anything wrong. He's on trial because of performing for the Japanese, which would have been like a criminal offense. I don't remember what the punishment was supposed to be, but execution, I think, because they believe he's going to be dead. They all commit perjury and lie that he was threatened and going to be beaten and this kind of
Yeah.
thing. And then Dei, instead of lying, which might have gotten him off or might have gotten him in big trouble, he tells the truth and basically just ruins everybody else. He tells the truth about what happened, why he did it, but he gets off because there's like an emergency happening or something. Somebody comes in very quickly to tell the judge something, and he's like, "All right, DAE, you're free."
Enough with the show trial.
Yeah.
But then it jumps forward again to 1948. The communists have taken over, and everyone is like, there's a less of a priority on theater.
Yep.
It's not good for the masses, or like if you do theater, it has to be for the glory of the people.
Or the proletariat, yeah.
Juan, the mentor, is executed at that point because he is a nationalist.
Yeah.
That doesn't sit well with these people. And what's funny is Zhao Si, who we met previously, the child, is becoming a thorn in the side of this because he is a true believer. Like he fully supports the cause.
I don't know if he is a true believer. I mean, he follows along, definitely. But I'll tell you why I think that. Maybe I can convince you. But he does definitely, like, play along. Now, to me, this is another thing that makes me feel like this movie must have been banned initially, like after it came out. Because the thing that this movie is most critical of is not the nationalists, and certainly not the Japanese. It is the communists. It is so not even just the Cultural Revolution, but just the entire communist regime, like from the beginning to the Cultural Revolution. Theater plummets. The original guy who hired DAE and Shitou says something like, well, the Manchus have been running things for hundreds of years, but there's always going to be some space for theater. Different emperor, different times, different emperor, or something like that. And then I think Shitou or some people say some things about the communists, like, that gets Shitou in trouble. He says something about challenging them or something. Or maybe I'm just remembering because later at the struggle session, they say Shitou said he will challenge them or something like that. Anyway, DAE becomes addicted to opium.
Yep. Finally, yeah.
Yeah, finally. Thank God. We finally got to it. And lo and behold, who is there to help him kick the habit, Zhu who is always there to help or ask for help from this insufferable guy who's lived a terrible life, and it's perfectly reasonable. He's mentally where he is. Zhu Xian's always there.
Yeah.
Help, ask for help. She is a solid rock. She is like, she was using Shitou, but she's accepted, like, okay, this is what I need to do. I'm going to be supportive to make sure my life is good, and I will help these assholes in my life. Zhu Xian, she's the hero of this story and doesn't deserve anything that ever happened to her.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
I wrote down water turned to ice. I don't know if that was something I wrote when Douzi was going through withdrawal, trying to kick the
I
habit.
don't know. That was a pretty interesting way of showing it. I mean, one, didn't he didn't he start it because of the guy dying, and he has an absolute meltdown
Yeah.
because he's executed, and then probably to kill the pain or something, starts taking opium, which the communists were very serious about kicking that habit and getting it out of the country because of what it did to, like, it helped bring about the century of shame in the 19th century, thanks to the British.
Right. The typical enemies in world history.
Yeah. The common foe.
Yeah.
The common foe for the common man, I suppose. Uh, God, I love this movie. I don't know if I'm skipping something. I'm sure you wrote something, but it goes downhill from here real fast.
Yeah, like there's the acting class, and Souzi is becoming like an antagonistic force. But then the story just sort of shifts and goes to the 1960s.
Yeah.
Shitou is living in poverty. He's married to Jushin, and I don't think they have a child. They might have a child,
No,
but
they don't.
he has not, like, the acting success and the claim that he won in the 30s and 40s is not there anymore because
Yeah.
the communists have taken over and have changed everything.
Yeah, they want theater to be reflective of themes that, support the common man, as you said earlier, right? But he's old school, and he's very much like DAE is even more old school. He's got a very conservative mindset about sort of the old world, so to speak, of how things used to be and what opera should be. In that acting class, the boy that they adopted, you see he's becoming more of the vanguard, unthinking mass. Well, not part of the unthinking mass, so to speak. That's what I got the feeling of, that this movie was trying to say, that so many people bought into it to become an unthinking mass. Anyway.
No, that's a very good point. That especially in this next part where Shitou is arrested and interrogated in like this theater area.
Yeah. So I just want to say, like, in that came to me because in that acting scene, we see the conservatism of DAE. Not so much Shitou. He's trying to adapt to the times, but he's still a little reserved. But the original patron, he's a huge suck up because the boy, he says. He basically just spouts party slogans at that acting class, right? About like the proletariat are important, the working man, and blah blah blah. And okay, yeah, sure, these things are true, but it's like he doesn't have a thought of his own. He's literally just repeating what he's been told. And so does the patron, who's like trying to make sure, I gave my theater to the party. Let's all play along now, y'all. This kind of thing. And then Shitou gets arrested, as you said.
Yeah. So they're both interrogated. They don't really say anything about each other. but Jushin kills herself, and then there's this.
Oh, you are skipping a whole lot of
Okay,
things.
yeah. So they get arrested, and then they're taken outside, where
Shitou is taken to a theater, I think, and
yeah,
Jiaozi or whatever his name is in the corner watching from the
yeah,
side.
yeah, yeah.
And they're asking, like, did you say this 30 years ago? Did you say that 10, 20 years ago? Because your old boss said you said that. And, he gets caught and busted, and Shitou tries to say, it wasn't me. This is a lie. He's just trying to cover his own ass. But then the other, Jiaozi or whatever his name is, tries to confirm and antagonizes him as well. This leads to the arrest of Diei, and the absolutely, in my opinion, I don't know how you felt about the marching the criminals around, but it was like I don't know if there's a name for that. Like what he was doing, like getting interrogated, and having to, or when they're outside, like that's a struggle session, right? That's the name for it.
Yeah.
When they have to admit to their crimes and whatever, and they have the interrogation as well. But like this parading around the class criminals or the class enemies, that's like, just stop doing that. You're so embarrassing. You people are just so cringy.
Yeah.
That's how I felt watching it. I think that's how I was supposed to feel. I don't know how you felt watching that.
Well, it's like the thing is, like I think what the director, the writers are trying to say is that like the revolution had all these high ideals, but who's being put on trial here? These are actors. They didn't have any real power. Like they're dealing with their own struggles. Like
These are continue, sorry.
the people with the real money, the political people, they fled, to Taiwan. They fled elsewhere, and so the revolution, like they held the common people accountable. And you saw with like Mao's Cultural Revolution how many people suffered there. Like, so this movie,
And these are the lowest of society, as we have been told repeatedly by the movie.
yeah. So like, why are they being made to suffer?
Well, even though they had their great success and rose to the top, right? Like I said, the role that you have in life, even if you rise, life does not get better. I think that's a big, at least, theme of this movie, to some degree, at least for like China at the time, and certainly with the way the revolution was playing, like who are we really holding accountable and for what? As you say, I think this is a very astute point. Now, the struggle session is, I don't think I've been this angry at a movie, not at a movie, but like at characters in a movie in a while. Please explain the struggle session.
Yes, they're pushed around, made to walk through the city, and like at one point they just start ratting each other out. Like they start accusing each other of awful, horrendous things, which might not even be true.
Well, some of them were true. Like Shitou, to this point, I never disliked Shitou. I always thought I kind of like he seemed like a fun-loving guy, not necessarily a great guy, but just like he was always there for Die. He helped him out. He took care of him, but he did seem like a weak person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then here, he's the first to fold, and he's like, Die, that fucker did all these things. He did this. He played for the nationalists. He played for the Japanese. He was addicted to opium. He did all these other things. Those ones might not have been true. I forget what the other things he said. And then, like, they question him about his wife who's trying to help him because she's a good fucking person. Because she picks up the sword or something that was gifted. And they ask if she was a prostitute in the past because they heard it somewhere, and he sells her the fuck out. And I was like, I have been hating Die this whole movie, with hating him with love, because Leslie Cheung is like, in my opinion, perhaps the best actor ever. If you've seen Happy Together, or is that what it's called? Happy Days or something? The
Yep,
Wong Kar-wai movie has Tony Leung. It's in Argentina. Excellent movie. You should watch it.
I'll do that.
He is so excellent in that movie, but I think this is his best performance. But like, Die also sells out everybody, but that was to be expected because he's a as they say a messy bitch.
That feels very true. Yeah,
But when he sold out, when Shitou sold out his wife, I was like, it's one thing to sell out Die because Die's an asshole. He's a lovable asshole, but he's terrible.
so I do think that Shitou selling out his wife is strategic because if he doesn't, like she's next, like
Yeah,
they're gonna put her on trial, and so it's just like
could
him
be.
saying, oh, her, like she's a prostitute, she's meaningless, like don't even.
Yeah, it could be that. It could be that. I personally didn't read it that way. I thought that he was like a weak person. And when this finally happened, like all those moments of weakness it's clicked in my head and I realized of course he would do that because he's trying to protect his own ass. She now it could be also like the characters are so complex. So it could be that I think you're right too. Like, he might have been thinking, how can I protect my wife? Possibly. Well, if I sell her out now, then she doesn't have to go through this. That could be an element of it. I personally felt he was more strongly motivated in, like, let me just get it all out. Hopefully, nothing will happen. Which nothing happens to him. He doesn't get punished. Neither does Ye for their many crimes in the past and their shitty behavior. The only person who does get punished is his wife because she kills herself because she's given her life to this man and the other asshole, Diei. And although she was using him at first, she became a loving wife. She had a kid. She felt sorry that she lost it. She took care of him. She stayed with him in poverty when he lost his career, or basically lost his career. And then she sold out, which, I mean, as you said, she would have been next anyway, so maybe not so good. But the crime was 30 years ago. Maybe she would have been let off light. But again, who are we really punishing here? The lowest of society. Ugh.
Yeah.
I was so mad at Shichu. I hated him so much.
It's a very ugly moment, but you know that's what torture and public humiliation do to people. You saw it in like 1984, like
Yes, for sure.
in the
For
room
sure.
of room 101, room 104, something like that.
Room 101. Yeah. And then the final scene after. Oh, well, no, there's another part. And here's where I think. Because you said Jiaozi, was that his name? I keep calling him that. The boy that they adopted. You said he was a full-fledged believer in the
Yeah.
party. But here's where I felt he was not. We skipped a scene that I'm now remembering. There's a part where they're getting ready to perform a little bit before the struggle session. And the boy dresses up for the concubine role and takes Diai's position and says, "You're not going to do this. I'm going to do it." And then Shutu doesn't want to do it. And then he threatens him. What would it look like if you don't play for the people? Play for the masses or something like that. And it's like, you're just using your position as a party member, as one of the as a young cadre or whatever. There's that element, but then right after the struggle session, you see him like enjoying the gifts from the box that Die was given, right? The headdress for the concubine role, and he's like looking at himself in the mirror. God, I look so not in the mirror. I think he's just holding it, and then you just see a whole bunch of soldiers in the back, PLA members catching him in the act of, enjoying the fruits and labor of capitalism, taking advantage, or whatever. Not capitalism, but like He's like exploiting, right? In this sense, I that made me feel like he's not a full-fledged believer. He's taking advantage of an opportunity because he hated the way DAE was also training him the same way. And he does threaten DAE, like, the way you talk is not very communist now, is it? You don't seem to be a believer in the people or whatever. I don't know if you felt that way from that, but I felt he wasn't a full believer.
There's probably something deeper there. Like, I do think he is a true believer, but there's, being abandoned, and being forced to being raised in the orphanage, it didn't do wonders for Dei, and it's probably not doing wonders for Douzi either. So.
Yeah, to be honest, like, it could be, like, Dei certainly does not like Juxian because she's a prostitute. And he was abandoned by his mother, who was a prostitute. So he's got some ugly feelings about that, right? And just women in general, I guess. Even though there's only two women, both of them. One of them is actually good to him, and the other one was trying to do her best for him when she had no other choice. So doesn't know how to appreciate that, but how could he? He doesn't have the emotional support he needs. But maybe in the sense he is a true believer, the boy, kind of like how when DAE sees that performance and decides, I'm going full bore into this is, and Shitou is going to be my support, and this is the person I love, or whatever. Maybe the Communist Party and being part of something made him feel powerful and made him feel like he belonged. In a sense, gave him some confidence or whatever. And then he felt like, I don't have to be treated like garbage by DAE, who's part of the old guard. I can be part of something new, and I belong, and I don't get treated like garbage. But I'm just going to spout everything that they tell me and not think for myself. Anyway. Movie ends.
Yeah,
final scene.
Yeah, 1977. They're still putting on the performance, and DAE Douzi kills himself.
Seemingly. Probably.
Reenactment. Certainly. What?
Seemingly. Probably. Certainly.
There's a lot of reenactment of the scene of the king demanding of his concubine, and the concubine trying to kill herself.
Yeah, she takes the sword, right?
Yeah.
And then this was a scene that was kind of foreshadowed earlier and talked about many times in the movie. Interestingly, Shitou screams out DAE's name, DAE! And then you hear the fall. And then he smiles. And then the movie ends.
The perfection of the art of acting, to go full method and just kill yourself.
Hell yeah. Dudes rock.
Yeah.
Anyway, not much else to say. Incredible movie. Fantastic performances by everyone. Great set design. Acting. Everything about it is like masterclass. Just wonderful.
Really depressing from beginning to end. Like, there's not a lot of cheery anything about it. It's just like people suffer. Suffering is inevitable. Even in revolution, you will suffer afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Your life does not get better.
Damn. Yeah.
That's my kind of movie.
So, anyway, your usual question here.
The age-old question: which character do you relate to most?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I don't know. Like that, none of these characters really. They're so like hyper specific and fully realized that it's really hard to relate to anybody. Like Juxian, prostitute, don't really have a lot of experience with that.
Not yet.
Yeah, Douzi is so broken. I can't relate to that. And Shitou is so invested in his career. I've never been that invested in anything before, to the point where I was willing to sacrifice everyone around me. So I'm gonna say I don't relate to anybody. Like, I know that's a dumb answer, kind of, but that's how I.
Ooh, that's all right. Mm, I think I probably relate most to the shufu, the the old teacher that they have. Not because I'm an abusive asshole as a teacher, but there are definitely times where my students are, I'm like, I just explained to you how to do this. I showed it to you 3 times. I am telling you, do this. How about you write this? You write this sentence, Bob. I walked my dog in the park. And then after that, keep going. Whatever. Like, whatever it is. I can relate to him being like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Do what I told you. I never want to hit my students, but just that, like, anger at, like, you do not listen to me at all.
You heard it here first. Lucas doesn't want to hit his students, but he does.
But I just want to, I know I've said it many times, but I feel like Leslie Cheung not only is one of the best actors, but this is like top 10 performances ever, in my opinion, because Die is, I mean, I've been calling him a messy bitch, but he's such a like sensitive, it's like such a sensitive portrayal of like this he's not like physically frail, but like emotionally frail, someone who needs support, who's like just good enough as a person that you want to care for him. And then because he's so broken, he just does the exact worst thing at every moment possible and tries to make it everyone else's problem. And he's infuriating, but he's like the most, in a sense, I maybe relate to him the most. I feel like he's the most human person in the whole movie.
Yeah, no, he's a fully realized character, and there's layers to the performance. So I agree with that.
Well, it's now time to hear your movie.
Yeah, so I've plotted great evil upon you. So
Excellent.
for we might do it in like 2 weeks just to catch up.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
So the movie that we're gonna watch is Sallow, or the 120 Days of Sodom.
What's wrong with you?
I have not seen it. I've heard disturbing things about it, but I've never seen any clips
God.
from it. Have you seen it?
All my coworkers talk about it. They didn't. I've never seen it, but they constantly talk about how terrible it is in the graphic sense.
Yeah, yeah. It's I don't know. I just movies depicting the awful nature of fascist. That's what I want to watch. I basically want to watch people like fascists suffer all the time now for reasons that I like. There's no reason for it. Like, there's nothing going on in American like. In like current events that makes me hate fascists, but
Yeah. Well, we just watched a movie that shows how communists make people suffer. I suppose we can watch a movie about how fascists make you suffer, or how fascists suffer.
or how people just like live in complete hedonism and how
Excellent.
the weird aspects of that.
I am. I don't know if I'm down. I will probably hate you, but it sounds like a good time.
Yeah, consider it revenge for the story of the eye all those years ago.
No, it comes back to me.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of what happens in this movie. Like all those years, like I'm doing the struggle to you.
No.
Yeah, but be on the lookout for that out there. But thanks for watching the video out there. If you have any things to say, comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, subscribe to Lucas or subscribe to me. We'd that way we can talk more about this sort of thing, and then you share it as well. But other than that, we wish you the best of luck in your weird and Beijing opera-based travels. Farewell.
Farewell.